Hey guys, this is Isaac Smith with some review for the 2020 AP Biology exam. I know I have a lot of friends right now at my high school that are taking AP Biology, and I've recently actually lectured to the AP Biology classes about photosynthesis, and so I've gotten to know a lot more of those students, and I've decided to do some review, especially because this exam is going to be so much different than every other AP Biology exam, right? And I have the two questions up here. So this video I'm going to summarize how I'm thinking AP Biology review should be this year, and then we'll go into, in the next videos, some more content, but it's important to know how to study for this kind of exam. So question one, right, is you're going to get an authentic scenario, as AP Biology usually does, right, a real biological scenario with data in a table or graph, and you will have to describe and explain biological concepts, processes, or models in an applied context. Identify and justify experimental design procedures, analyze data, and make and justify predictions, right? And so this is going to be a data-focused question, an experiment-focused question, but it will also have some of that qualitative aspect of biology as well. Question 2 is going to be very similar to how last year's question 4 was, right? Where you're going to get a biological scenario, you're going to get a disruption, and you're going to have to explain the scenario, explain the model that they're going to give you, as well as explain what you think the effects of the disruption are going to be, and of course argue what what you think the disruption will cause, and support your argument with biological reasoning. So the big thing here is there's no multiple choice. This is going to be a I'd say big picture test, right? You're not going to get bogged down into the details. They're not going to ask you, what is apoptosis, right? Or what does the Golgi body do? You're not going to be asked those things. Uh, you you're not going to get into all of those nitty-gritty details. You're going to want to know the general idea of what these biological processes are, what they do. You're also going to want to review your labs, right? And so for the things to study, I have the first 7 of the 12 AP Biology labs. Those are the ones, looking at it, looks like 8 through 12 are from the cutoff section, which hopefully you know that there will be no natural selection and no ecology on this. And the last, 4 of those labs are ecology labs. Ecology and physiology. And so I have the Bozeman Science videos. One of the labs, I'm hoping I'll be able to get a video in on my own for Lab 7, which is genetics, and we'll get to that in the next video, but I'm not sure how much genetics I'm going to be covering on this, just because it's that's genetics is the big one that you're probably going to want to know more of the details. You're going to want to know how to do Punnett square, how to do a cross for either Mendelian or non-Mendelian genetics with, all of the different things, codominance, partial dominance, all of that good stuff, as well as sex-linked chromosomes. So that, or sex-linked genes. So that's going to be a project for me, but other than that, I'm going to cover a bunch of other biological processes, right? And so you will see what I have. I have a bunch set up, and I'm really going to just focus on showing you a diagram. You're not going to need to memorize this diagram, right? You'll probably be given it, and even if you're not, right, this is an open book test. It's not about memorization. It's not about knowing each part of the diagram. It's about understanding in general what the model, what the biological process is doing, what it's saying. Right? And so the main things we're going to want to think about are the structure and function of the molecules and organelles involved in the process. What I call the critical steps, which are the steps of the process that are most sensitive to disturbances, especially for here, right? And what those steps are, where they take place, what they have to do with. right? And then regulation. What has to happen, and also what has to be present for the process to occur? How can an organism control whether or not this process occurs? And then lastly, we do have how features in this process relate to the fitness of the organism. This will not likely, but it could still possibly be on the AP. Even though evolution is not, fitness is still part of the other units in like a smaller way, right? But so it could still be on the AP, but especially if you continue on in biology, everything gets linked back to evolution, right? That's how everything got here, to begin with, is, features of organisms evolved, right? We just started with a single cell organism, so it's important to know when you're understanding it, how did this process evolve? Okay, you're also going to want to know many of the equations on the equation sheet, not all of them, and that's going to be the next video that we talk about. So with that, I'll see you in the next video.